So my name is Swami Lalitananda, and I lived at the ashram for a number of years, and for the last 3 years have lived in Vancouver. So part of what I've been doing is working on several books. I write a column for Ascent magazine, and that column is now being amalgamated into a book. And the title of the book is going to be The Inner Life of Asanas. And it's a continuation of Swami Radha's teachings on the hidden language of Hatha Yoga. I talked to the group who just finished the hidden language teacher training and described the structure of the book. I've been writing in Ascent for 8 or 9 years now, since it came out as a new publication. So there's a lot of columns over that time, and I also edit Swami Radha's articles for Ascent, so that gives me a lot of being involved in her teachings and her thinking as well. And each time, the Ascent team somehow comes up with another theme, and I have to write about an asana from the hidden language approach based on whatever the theme for Ascent is. So that's my challenge. Right now, my mind is full of the elements because that's the next issue. So I'm writing about Swami Radha's words on the elements: air, fire, earth, water, space, and also trying to think of an asana that goes with that. So I think it's going to be the camel pose. What Kendra, who is my editor, and myself did with the book was divided into sections, and the first section is awareness. And I really liked how this happened. It was like there's like an organic development of how the book could flow. So the first one is awareness, and that's kind of like the first principle of yoga, is awareness. And once you have awareness, then it leads to the next principle, which is choice. So when you have awareness, then you never just have one option. You can observe, even in your own mind, there's a possibility for choice. And then once you have choice, you can take action. So sometimes the choice part takes longer. We have to make the decision. But then when it comes to action, we really do have to act at some point. And I think that, we chanted to Kali to start with, and Kali's all about change. And it happens to all of us. It's happening right now in the Radha centers. A lot of people from Calgary are here, and we've sold the house in Calgary that had been there for 25 years. And now the people who are the teachers in the house are going out and teaching in different centers and finding creative ways to bring the teachings forward. So change happens, and we have to work with that. We can't live life without experiencing change. So how do we love Kali? How do we love that power that changes things in our life? Because the more we can accept change, then the more we live our life fully, accepting what life brings us, still finding out that we still have choice, but at some point we're going to die. So we have to, I always think that there's an ending to what we know. So how do we prepare for that in a way that our mind is ready to expand to another dimension? So we have to practice working with change. So taking action as well, initiating change. Can we do that? And then the next one that we brought forward was devotion, which is that softening element and the heartfelt place that we come from. So when we make our choices based on devotion, we can still bring in our intelligence, our intellect, but also listen to the intelligence of the heart. What does the heart say? And then the last section is union or unity, because we have to realize, or we can realize, or there's that potential to realize that we're part of a whole, within ourselves. We have like a lot of personality aspects. We have our body, our mind, our heart, and all of that. But somehow it's really whole. And how do we find that wholeness in ourselves and in the interconnection among us as people, but also as a planet? All of the living things, all of the different cultures. How do we get out of our small view and interconnect and understand that interdependence? So these are topics that you can think about in yoga, in your life, in being an intelligent person or an inquiring person. But you can also work with hidden language and work with those principles and see how that reflects back to you. So tonight I'm going to read a little bit from it. It starts with a quote from Swami Radha: "All life is sacred." While reflecting on devotion, I became curious about the root of the word and discovered it comes from the Old English vow, or Latin votus, from which the word vote derives. Devotion implies vowing or committing to something, or casting our opinion or weight behind someone. It is important to ask, what or who am I devoted to and why? Because where our devotion is, that's where our energy will go. Many great saints, both Eastern and Western, have attained liberation through their devotion and love for the divine. In the yoga tradition, bhakti is the path of devotion. I think of it as the path of the heart, juicy and full of the ripeness of love, rather than dry and debatable, like philosophies that exercise the intellect. Through devotional practices, we can direct our passion to the divine and transform the fires of emotion into finer feelings of intense love and gratitude.